So you mentioned that one of your values, overall, you mentioned a couple of values you had, but one of them that stood out to me was finding this balance between being confident but not cocky. So
yes.
How would you describe it?
There's a huge difference between confident and cocky. Confident is kind of, you can do it, but you can kind of present yourself, but you're not throwing in other people's faces. You're not making a scene of it. You're not being aggressive about it. You just know you can do it, and you do it. Usually the loudest person in the room is not the smartest person. It's usually not the strongest person. A simple rule is person looking for a fight, is usually not the person who's ready to have a fight. Working in bars and restaurants, I learned that a lot late nights. The loudest guy is not ready to take a punch. But for me, I am a very confident person in who I am as a man, as a father, as a chef, and not everyone knows that about themselves. And I've been lucky that, it takes a lot of inner kind of looking in and knowing what you can and can't do. But I know who I am, and I don't need to promote it. I always kind of say I like to be the Wizard of Oz. I'm the guy behind the curtain. I don't need all the who's and ha's. And if you ever talk to me, I very rarely ever take credit for anything. I always say my team, or the chef this, or the management team here. It is a team effort. Nothing is done with me. It's a part of my vision, but without everyone else, this doesn't happen. A cocky person will say it's all me. I did this, I do that, and those aren't people I'm going to want to spend time with. But
100% agree. I think a lot of it just comes from insecurity, right? I wonder if we were able to read people's minds. I think we really noticed that the people who present themselves in a certain way are almost always the exact opposite in the inside of their mind, the nature of their mind. Which I'm not saying it's anyone's fault, but I think it's just something that we can point out about human nature, right? We tend to create an external front or persona to cover up something we're kind of insecure about, which I find that really interesting, right? Because the person who may not feel so strong or not feel so confident with themselves on the inside will try to create that persona to feel protected in a way. But I think confidence, in my opinion, it's more of an internal state, right? That internal knowing that you're doing what you believe is correct. And I think it's important to give people credit. I think I heard this quote once that it's important for a leader to take as much fault as possible and give as much credit as possible.
It's amazing.
It seems like you've exemplified that a lot.
I try to, and it's funny you said what people exude. Like, my mother, who's still alive, thank goodness, says I deflect with humor. It's my coping mechanism. So I try to be very serious here, but I'm usually very funny and outgoing. Where really inside, I'm just kind of somber and focused and quiet. But I use that humor side, to kind of keep things light and keep it joyous.
If you enjoyed that clip with Chef Stahl, then you're going to love the full, unedited length podcast. Make sure you click here to see the full, unedited length podcast. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more.